Hello everybody! If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 620, The Quiet River Intermediate. The old mill town of Aberdane was built on the banks of the River Taw. For generations, the river was the lifeblood of the community. But in recent years, something was wrong. The once clear water had a strange, oily sheen, and the fish had all but disappeared. The smell was the worst part, a metallic, chemical scent that clung to the air on damp days. Finch had lived in Aberdane his whole life. As a retired fisherman, he knew the river better than anyone. He suspected the new water treatment plant run by a powerful company called Aqualore. They had built a massive facility just upstream a few years ago, promising to clean the water. But Alan believed they were doing the opposite. He started taking his own samples using old jam jars to collect water from different points along the river. He sent them to an environmental agency in the city, but their response was always the same. Results inconclusive. Alan knew this was a lie. He saw the company's large, unmarked trucks coming and going at all hours. He saw the way the security guards patrolled the perimeter with a little too much zeal. He decided to take his investigation into his own hands. One rainy night, Alan put on his dark green coat and his Wellington boots. He waited until the moon was hidden behind the clouds and then slipped out of his house. He followed a small hidden path through the woods that ran parallel to the river. The path led him to a chain-link fence, a part of the Aqualore facility. He found a weak spot and carefully squeezed through. He saw it then, a large rusty pipe hidden behind a cluster of trees. It wasn't on any of the official maps of the facility. A thick, dark sludge was seeping out of it, silently pouring into the river. The smell was overpowering. Alan felt his stomach turn. This was their secret, the reason the river was dying. They were illegally dumping their waste into the water, and everyone in town, including the environmental agency, was too scared to stand up to them. He quickly took a photo on his old mobile phone, the shaky flash illuminating the scene for a split second. As he was about to leave, he heard voices. "Did you hear something?" a man's voice asked. Alan froze, pressing himself against a damp tree trunk. He saw two security guards walking toward him, their torches cutting through the darkness. He held his breath, his heart pounding in his chest. Just as they were about to pass his hiding spot, he saw the faint light of a head torch in the distance, heading in the opposite direction. It was Alan's old friend, an environmental activist named Maya. She was a welcome distraction. The guards turned and walked toward her. He took this chance to run. He stumbled back through the fence and into the woods, not stopping until he was safe at home. He immediately sent the photo to a journalist he knew in the city, an old contact of Maya's. He also sent the photo to a few different news agencies. He didn't just want it to be a secret anymore. He wanted everyone to know the truth. Within 24 hours, the photo was all over the news. Journalists swarmed Aberdane. Environmental inspectors, forced to act by the public outrage, descended on the Aqualore facility. The company's carefully constructed web of lies and bribes fell apart under the pressure. The secret pipe was found, the evidence undeniable. Aqualore was forced to admit their guilt, facing massive fines and legal action. The company's top executives were arrested. The River Taw would need years to recover, but the quiet dumping had finally stopped. Finch, the unassuming fisherman, had become a local hero. He had proved that even a single person, with a few jam jars and a lot of determination, could bring a powerful corporation to its knees and finally let the river begin to heal. Vocabulary notes. Sheen. A sheen is a soft, shiny light on a surface. It's often used to describe something that looks smooth and slightly reflective, like a polished floor or a healthy head of hair. In the story, the river had a strange, oily sheen, which suggests the water was polluted and had a slick, unnatural appearance. Example, the once clear water had a strange, oily sheen. Similar words, luster, glimmer, gloss, shimmer. Zeal. Zeal is a great energy or enthusiasm for something. It can be a positive trait, like having a lot of zeal for a new project. However, in this story, the security guard's zeal is negative. It shows they were overly strict and committed to hiding the company's secret. Example, he saw the way the security guards patrolled the perimeter with a little too much zeal. Similar words, passion, fervor, intensity, dedication. Sludge. Sludge is a thick, muddy or greasy substance. It's usually a waste product or something that has become thick and unpleasant. In the story, the thick, dark sludge pouring into the river is a clear sign of severe pollution. Example, a thick, dark sludge was seeping out of it, silently pouring into the river. Similar words, ooze, muck, sediment, grime. Unassuming. An unassuming person is someone who is quiet, modest, and does not try to attract attention. They are the opposite of someone who is boastful or arrogant. Alan is described as the unassuming fisherman because he wasn't a powerful or famous person, just an ordinary man who did an extraordinary thing. Example, Alan Finch, the unassuming fisherman, had become a local hero. Similar words, humble, modest, quiet, meek. Bribery. Bribery is the act of giving or taking money, gifts or favors to persuade someone to do something dishonest or illegal. It's a form of corruption. In the story, the company used bribes to prevent people, including the environmental agency, from revealing the truth about their pollution. Example, the company's carefully constructed web of lies and bribes fell apart. Similar words, corruption, payoff, graft, kickback. Story written by Gemini Pro AI, image created by Gemini Pro AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, heads.
Imagine a river, okay. Once just teeming with life, the absolute heart of an old mill town. Clear water, fish, the whole picture.
Yeah, vibrant.
Exactly. Now picture that same river, silent, eerily quiet.
The life just gone.
Gone. No fish. The water's got this strange oily sheen on it. And there's this smell hanging in the air, sort of metallic, chemical, just wrong.
Ghost of what it was.
That's where we're starting today. We're doing a deep dive into this really compelling short story, The Quiet River.
Right.
It's powerful stuff. It shows how, just one ordinary person can actually stand up to a huge corporation.
And make a massive difference.
Yeah, achieve extraordinary change just by refusing to ignore that gut feeling that something's seriously off.
It's a brilliant story for illustrating that, isn't it? The real world impact of environmental negligence, basically.
Yeah.
And the sheer determination it takes sometimes to dig out the truth. We'll get into the buildup, this sort of creeping problem, then the big shock discovery and, the ripple effects from one person just sticking to their guns.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when the official line is, well, inconclusive.
Mm-hmm. Vague.
It forces you to look past the easy answers, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
To question what's really going on beneath the surface.
Absolutely. So the setting is Aberdane. It's this quaint old mill town right on the banks of the River Taw.
Classic setting.
For generations, that river wasn't just scenery. It was everything to them. Fishing, swimming, just the town's identity, really. Its lifeblood.
Makes sense.
And our main character is Alan Finch. He's a retired fisherman, knew that river inside out, every current, every hiding spot for fish, its moods.
Like the back of his hand.
Exactly. So when the river started getting sick, Alan didn't just notice. He felt it deep down.
He knew something fundamental had changed.
And the signs were, well, they were stark. You couldn't really miss them. That oily sheen we mentioned, it wasn't just ugly, it looked unnatural, like a warning sign.
Something alien on the water.
Right. And the fish, gone, just vanished, which for a fishing town is devastating.
Absolutely. Economically and culturally.
And that smell.
Yeah.
That metallic chemical scent just hanging there, especially on damp days. It wasn't just a nuisance. It felt like the river itself was being poisoned, choked out.
And this immediate visible decline, that's what really got Alan thinking, right? Because it was such a contradiction.
Oh, so?
Well, this new water treatment plant, Aqualore, they'd set up just upstream a few years back.
Okay.
And their whole promise, their reason for being there was to clean the water, make it better.
Ah, right. The irony.
Huge irony.
Yeah.
The supposed solution arrives, and the problem gets worse. Much worse.
Yeah.
Really raises that big question, when the fix seems to make things worse, what are we actually missing?
Yeah.
What's not being said?
And Alan, knowing the river like he did, he wasn't buying the official story.
No, he trusted his own eyes, his own senses, more than any corporate PR.
So he decides to do something, and his first steps are almost, well, humble, really simple.
Yeah, what did he do?
He starts collecting his own evidence, gets out these old jam jars.
Jam jars. Brilliant.
Right, and starts taking water samples, different spots along the river, upstream, downstream, try and get a picture.
Proper grassroots investigation.
Totally. Just this retired fisherman with his jam jars going up against potentially, a big operation. He carefully sends these samples off to an environmental agency in the city, hoping they'll confirm what he sees.
Seeking that official validation. Makes sense.
But here's where it gets really frustrating for him. Every single time he sends samples.
Well, let me guess.
Yep. Results inconclusive every time. No explanation, just inconclusive.
Oh, that's infuriating.
Especially for Alan. He knows the river, he sees the oil, smells the chemicals, knows the fish are gone. Inconclusive just doesn't square with reality.
No way.
It feels like a deliberate brush off, doesn't it? Like stonewalling.
Well, that phrase, results inconclusive, it can be a very useful tool, unfortunately, for those who want to avoid scrutiny.
How do you mean?
I mean, it's not always about genuine scientific doubt. Sometimes it's a tactic, a way to muddy the waters, literally and figuratively.
Right. Create uncertainty.
Exactly. If the results are always inconclusive, there's no proof, right? No smoking gun, no basis for regulators to act or for legal challenges.
So how would a company like Aqualore potentially achieve that?
Well, there are ways. You could maybe time your official sampling, collect water when discharge is low, perhaps, or use tests that aren't quite sensitive enough for certain chemicals, or, exploit loopholes in the regulations about what counts as definitive proof.
It sounds like a deliberate strategy to avoid accountability.
It can be. It creates just enough doubt to keep things going, to deter deeper investigation. And Alan's other observations seemed to fit that pattern too, didn't they?
You mean the trucks?
Yeah, the large unmarked trucks he saw coming and going at all hours. And the security guards who seemed maybe a little too vigilant patrolling the fence line.
Doesn't sound like a company with nothing to hide.
Not typically. No. It hints at something secret, something they don't want people seeing.
So Alan's hit this wall with the official channels. They're either useless or maybe worse.
Actively part of the problem, perhaps.
Right. So he makes this big decision. He's going to bypass all of that, go rogue, basically, take the investigation fully into his own hands.
Which takes guts.
Absolutely. And for him, it wasn't just about being curious anymore. It was personal, deeply personal. That river was part of him, part of his community's soul. He felt he had to find out what was killing it.
A sense of responsibility.
Definitely. And that leads him to take some pretty serious risks. The story really paints a picture here, building the suspense.
I bet.
It's one rainy night, perfect cover, dark, wet.
Nobody out.
Alan puts on his dark green coat and his Wellington boots, waits for the moon to go behind the clouds. Total stealth mode.
Okay.
Slips out of his house, follows this little hidden path through the woods right alongside the river, and it leads him straight to the Aqualore facility fence, the chain link fence.
Right up to the edge.
The stage is set.
And you really feel the risk he's taking. He's not James Bond, he's a fisherman.
Exactly.
The story mentions how meticulous he was, though, finding a weak spot in the fence, carefully squeezing through. It wasn't reckless, it was calculated.
Driven by that conviction.
Yeah, and it's compelling how his quiet, sort of unassuming nature just concealed this incredible determination. He wasn't showy, but he was resolute.
And his persistence, his quiet determination, it leads him right to the truth. Once he's inside the fence line, he sees it.
What? What did he find?
A large, rusty pipe hidden behind a cluster of trees.
Hidden, okay.
And the crucial part, it wasn't on any of the official maps of the facility.
Whoa. That's damning. A secret pipe.
Undeniable. But then the visual proof, what's coming out of it? A thick, dark sludge. Just pouring silently, horribly, straight into the River Taw.
Oh, God, sludge.
And the smell was overpowering, so bad it made his stomach turn.
This was it.
No more inconclusive. This was physical proof. Illegal dumping right there.
That's the smoking gun. That hidden pipe, the sludge. That's their secret. The reason the river was dying.
Shatters all their denials.
Completely. It contradicts every single inconclusive report. It exposes the whole lie. And sludge, specifically, that word tells you it's not just slightly dirty water. That's concentrated industrial waste.
Deliberately hidden, deliberately dumped.
Blatant disregard for everything. The environment, the law, the community downstream. It's the physical evidence of that whole web of lies.
And Alan, even though he's probably reeling from the sight and the smell, he thinks fast.
Good. Needs evidence.
Pulls out his old mobile phone, takes a photo. It's shaky. The flash goes off for just a second, but it captures the pipe, the sludge, the whole scene.
That one photo could change everything.
Exactly. But just as he gets the shot, drama. He hears voices.
Oh, no. Security?
Did he hear something? A man's voice. Alan just freezes, presses himself against a tree as two security guards walk right towards his hiding spot. Their flashlights are cutting through the rain.
Heart-stopping moment.
Totally. He's trapped. But then, a bit of luck. Or maybe fate.
What happened?
Just as they were about to pass his hiding spot, he sees another light. A head torch in the distance, but going the other way along the fence.
Someone else.
Yeah, and it turns out to be his old friend, Maya. Remember her? The environmental activist.
Ah, Maya, wow. What timing.
Incredible timing. It's fascinating, isn't it? How often these big breakthroughs aren't just down to one person's bravery, but these little twists of fate, these unexpected connections.
Like Maya just happening to be there. A welcome distraction. Even if she didn't know it.
Completely accidental, but crucial. Her light draws the guard's attention away for just a moment, gives Alan the opening he needs.
Phew, close call.
He doesn't hesitate. Scrambles back through the weak spot in the fence, back into the woods, and just runs. Doesn't stop until he's safe at home, heart pounding probably.
I can only imagine. But he got the photo.
He got the photo, and his mission wasn't finished. Soon as he's back, adrenaline still pumping, he sends that shaky picture out.
Who does he send it to?
A journalist he knows in the city. Turns out it's an old contact of Maya's. Small world.
Useful connection.
And he sends it to a few different news agencies as well. Just blasts it out there.
Smart move. Don't rely on one source.
His thinking was clear. This couldn't be a secret anymore. Everyone needed to see the truth. He had the proof. Now he had to make sure it couldn't be buried again.
Make it public. Undeniable.
And the effect. Instantaneous. Within 24 hours, the photo was all over the news.
Wow, that fast.
Imagine the shockwaves. Journalists descend on Aberdane, phones ringing off the hook.
Suddenly it's a national story.
And importantly, those environmental inspectors,
Yeah.
the ones with the inconclusive results before,
Suddenly feeling the heat, I imagine.
totally forced to act by the public outrage. They swarm the Aqualore facility, but this time, there's no escaping. They know what they're looking for.
Yeah, Aqualore's whole carefully built facade just crumbles. That web of lies and bribes you mentioned. It falls apart. Bribery, using money or favors to get people to look the other way or fudge reports. It works in the shadows.
But not in the spotlight.
Not when there's a photo splashed across every newspaper and news channel. Public pressure combined with that undeniable photographic evidence. It's too much.
They found the pipe.
Oh, yeah. They found the pipe exactly where Alan said it was. The evidence was undeniable. It just goes to show, doesn't it? Corruption can run deep. It can be really hard to root out. But enough public scrutiny, enough hard evidence, you can break through.
So what happened to Aqualore?
The consequences came fast. They were forced to admit guilt, face massive fines and legal action.
Good.
And the really satisfying part for many, the company's top executives were arrested.
Wow. Real accountability.
A complete reversal of fortune for a company that probably thought it was untouchable.
And the river.
Well, that's the bittersweet part, isn't it? The immediate victory was huge. The illegal dumping stopped. Finally.
Oh, it's the main thing.
It is. But the story acknowledges the River Taw would need years to recover. You can't just undo that kind of damage overnight. It takes time, sustained effort.
Nature needs time to heal.
Exactly. But stopping the source of the pollution, that was the crucial first step. And it happened because of Alan.
Which brings us right back to him. Alan Finch, the unassuming fisherman.
Yeah. Unassuming, meaning, modest, not trying to attract attention.
But he becomes this local hero, an ordinary guy who did something truly extraordinary.
Absolutely.
His story proved it, didn't it? That one person, armed with just a few jam jars, an old phone, and a whole lot of determination,
Could actually bring a powerful polluting corporation to its knees, and it's inspiring.
It really is. So reflecting on this, what's the big takeaway for us? For me, Alan's story is just this powerful reminder that sometimes huge changes start small.
Yeah.
Simple tools, simple observations.
And that unwavering belief in what's right.
Exactly. He wasn't powerful in the traditional sense, no title, no big platform, but he had that connection, that integrity, and he refused to look away.
And I think it really highlights the power of just observing and thinking critically, not just accepting what you're told, especially from powerful sources giving you vague answers like inconclusive.
Questioning the why.
Yeah. Why is it inconclusive? What aren't they telling me? It encourages us all to look a bit deeper, doesn't it? To question assumptions, to realize that sometimes the truth is right there, just under the surface, waiting for someone persistent enough to uncover it.
Alan Finch saw that oily sheen, smelled that chemical scent, and he couldn't let it go. So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is, what oily sheen or inconclusive report might you be seeing in your own world, your community, maybe even your workplace?
What needs a closer look?
What's quietly screaming out for someone to notice, to question, to maybe grab their own metaphorical jam jars? What's your jam jar moment just waiting to happen?
Powerful question to end on.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.